back to the Roll the Dice Fantasy Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope all your teams are doing well. We're just going to do a little Week 8 recap, kind of our takeaways, what we thought was interesting, some of the notable performances, some storylines, and we'll go from there. So I guess, do you want to say something?
No,
Kick us off.
let's get into it, Hopefully you guys had a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the weekend was good. Nice Sunday, a little nightcap on Monday. So I guess we got to start. I mean, I feel like we talk about it every week, but especially this season. But I mean, just injuries, man.
Yeah,
Can't seem to get away from them.
It's the theme of 2020 fantasy. It's hurting, I think, every fantasy owner this year. Me especially. But
yeah, I mean,
every week it's something.
Godwin's been in and out. Galladay's out now. He's apparently week to week with his hip injury. So, I mean, if you guys checked out my waiver wire column today, I mentioned that fantasy managers are probably like, what the hell's going on? And I think we certainly share that sentiment. I guess we'll start. I mean, most notably, the Niners got hit again. They've just had a rough year. I mean, just terrible injury luck. Garoppolo's on the shelf again. He has a high ankle sprain. So I guess 4 to 6 weeks, I would assume.
Yep. So Garoppolo, that hurts pretty much everything in terms of whatever production you're getting for fantasy, whether it was him or any receiver, or you don't even have a tight end anymore if you had Kittle.
Yeah.
For a couple weeks. What happened with him?
He has a broken bone in his foot, but he's out 8 weeks. So, I mean, he could be out for the year. I mean, you figure if they're not in playoff contention, they're not even probably going to bother throwing him back in. They'll probably just hold him out. So, I mean, if you have Kittle, that sucks, obviously. Hopefully
no
you have
Kittle, no Garoppolo, no Debo.
Yeah, they were getting slammed, man. Coleman, I don't think's back yet.
Coleman's
Jeff
still
Wilson.
out.
Yep. I mean, I think McKinnon's been banged up too, right?
I think there might be an issue, but they're rolling with Hasty, and especially we'll get into the game. What's going on there. So I mean,
yeah,
they're just banged up right now, and it's going to be hard to get production in any fantasy shape out of guys on that team, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Any other key injuries that we want to mention? Kenyon Drake's still out.
I mentioned Galladay. Yeah, he's week to week. Aaron Jones, he might be back Thursday, but the Packers aren't sure. They had a little bit of a COVID scare as well, but I know Jamal Williams was a close contact to A.J. Dillon, so they're both out because A.J. Dillon tested positive, so they're both out for Thursday against the Niners. So they're rolling with I think a practice squad running back, and then their third string. I don't even know his name, to be honest. I mean, that kind of sucks. Even if you have Jones handcuffed, you can't even.
Yeah.
You can't even play Williams.
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
Rough.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Let's just get right in. Recap the games. Like I said, some takeaways, some tidbits, what we found interesting.
Do it.
We'll go all the way back to Thursday, the Falcons-Panthers game. What were your takeaways from there?
I mean, I called it right.
You did call it right. You started off 1-0 for the week.
I started off the week hot. Falcons-Panthers, it was a little more unexciting than I thought.
Yeah, me too.
But you got your usual production out of Calvin,
Julio. Yeah.
Calvin's was out. I think he's out again. So, it was just one of those games that I was more excited for than what actually happened.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we even said it on our preview. We both thought it was going to be high scoring, hammer the over. But I mean, we were dead wrong on that. And I mean, I said too, like divisional games can sometimes turn out to be kind of weird.
Yep.
They turn out to be a lot closer than it could look one-sided on paper. But then, both teams come out and they kind of just butt heads, and it's kind of an even game, and that's kind of what happened here. The Falcons finished; they didn't blow it, so congrats to them. It's a big stepping stone.
Matt Ryan kind of did his thing. He threw for 281, no touchdowns. but
Yeah, so
still gets it
decent
done.
game. 90
Um,
QBR, so I'm sure the Falcons they're content with that. But Calvin Ridley left this game early. They don't think his injury is too serious, so he may be ready. I mean, obviously they've had a long layoff because they played Thursday, so he might be ready for this week. But I mean, like you said, Julio came in, did his thing, 7 catches, 137 yards. And right from the start, they were featuring him.
yep.
Ryan was looking his way a
Yeah.
lot. So
He was able to get downfield and hand the ball off. You got a
yeah,
pretty good looking back in Gurley again. He didn't
hmm
really produce that much, but he
he had
bullied his
the
way into the end zone. So
he had the tutty. So
yeah,
we'll take the
exactly.
tutties. In terms of I don't think Ridley's really in serious danger, but I mean if he does miss any time, obviously Julio's
Yeah, you just got to
he's
keep
gonna
an eye
step and
out.
do his thing.
Just get your
Russell Gage
notifications
could
on, keep your noties on,
yep
because I think
follow the
he's
roto.
definitely questionable. So
Yeah, for sure. Follow the roto wire. Just keep tabs on it. Obviously Russell Gage would see an uptick maybe in volume behind Julio. But that remains to be seen. Uh, on the Carolina side, I thought Mike Davis was going to have a little bit of a bigger game, especially against Atlanta's defense, but he was kind of shut down again, and that's kind of like the second or third straight game where
and part of that is he's just not. Was he not finding holes? Is their offensive line weak? There's
true.
a lot. There's a lot of things
A
that
lot
go
goes
into it.
into that.
I
Yeah,
think he's a good back. It's just you think he'd be able to produce against a struggling Falcons defense too,
mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, kind of
I think when McCaffrey got hurt and he came in, it was kind of like a honeymoon phase.
yeah,
Like he comes in, he's ripping it up. He had 3 straight games of over 20 fantasy points. And maybe once you get tape on a guy, it's kind of easy to game plan him, and
yep,
you could shut him down. Obviously, once they get McCaffrey back, McCaffrey's going to come in and do his thing. He's pretty much matchup proof.
yeah,
So I think they're missing McCaffrey. I'm sure they can't wait to get him back. He had a chance to play in this one, so just obviously keep an eye on him.
yeah.
He should be
That's
good to go for this week. I mean, he's been out what 7 weeks now.
7, yeah, and that's big news for fantasy owners because they've just been salivating for that
Oh
moment when
yeah,
they get
they're
when
just
they get
waiting. The king of
there.
fantasy last year,
Oh my God,
just
does
wait
everything.
patiently,
So,
patiently
but
waiting for him to come
I'm
back.
happy. I'm happy for the Falcons. They finally held on. It looked like they almost Carolina almost had a chance to tie it
Yeah,
at one too, and good for them. They got it done. So yeah, happy to see it. I started 1-0 for the week, so I was happy. Uh, but yeah,
love that. All right, we'll do Pat's Bills. Got this game right. You know, Pats kept it close, but the Bills in the end
kept
they
it
stick out.
close. You would have thought the way the Bills have been playing as of late would have just absolutely buried the Pats on this one because the Pats have just been all discombobulated and
I am Aisha Protlier.
every time,
Oh,
every time. Um, but you know, it's a struggle. You
I
look,
think I think in terms of his recent performances, it's kind of a bounce back for Cam. Um, you know,
you could say
average
that.
through the air. But I
You
mean,
could
he had
say
the
that,
54.
but
He had the 54 rushing yards and the rushing touchdown. So his running games starting to come back. But I mean, you'd like to see him throw the ball a little better. I mean, obviously he doesn't have Edelman, so
yeah,
he doesn't have like
he's
that
struggling
safety
with
blanket.
weapons. He's struggling with the weapons that he has, but still, if his stats on paper don't look terrible, but if you watch that game,
Yeah, and obviously he had. I mean, they probably should have got the win, but he fumbled
oh
and
yeah, they're going or at least tied it up and forced
toward the red
OT.
zone. Yeah, toward the red zone,
So
that huge fumble, huge takeaway for the Bills D. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're kind of like all over the place. We saw the Pats trade for Isaiah Ford today, a rare interdivision trade. Um, I think I don't know the exact numbers, but he's ran like 95% of his snaps from the slot. So it's could be a good weapon for Cam, you know,
he needs
especially for
something. I
Belichick.
mean,
That offense kind of relies on their slot weapons. So
He needs some production. He needs to throw the ball better. The fact that they kept it close, I guess, is the bright side to this because the Bills are a very good team. They didn't look great this weekend, but they hung on, got it done. Josh Allen, average performance, 12
Hmm.
fantasy points, 154 yards in the air. He completed 11 out of 18 passes, so I mean, take it for what it's worth. The paper stats.
Yeah. I wrote about him in my waiver wire column today. Damian Harris, a surprisingly large workload. 16 carries, over 100 on the ground, 102, and then he had the touchdown. Um, I did mention though, because we saw Burkhead. Obviously, he had that huge game too. And it's kind of like a carousel with
Yeah,
Belichick.
and
His game plans
how
kind of
many
change.
how many damn running backs are you gonna have too? Like, and this guy stepped up to the plate and got it done. He had 102 yards, 16 attempts. The kid had a day. So
Yeah.
give credit where it's due.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's gonna be
but
interesting. Moving forward, could be a good bench, good stash on your bench, if you have the room and if you're willing to pick them up. Just see what happens with that moving forward. On the Buffalo side, it was a dead even split between Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. They each had 14 carries. Singletary had 5 more yards, 86 to Moss's 81, but Moss had the 2 touchdowns.
And we were kind of talking about while we are watching this game, the more the Bills hand the ball off to Moss, the more they loved him, and
Hmm.
you just tell Buffalo isn't really happy with what Singletary has been producing, especially he is a very good back, and he just hasn't been living up to those standards that they're putting out. And Moss came out the two touchdowns.
Yeah,
Um, about the same yards, and I think they're really happy with this performance. And he's an option now for a lot of people in fantasy as well.
yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a huge, lot of claims in for him this week. Um, Stephon Diggs did his thing, caught 6 of 9 targets for 92 yards. Behind him, though, not really much doing on the receiving end. But the Bills they've historically been a team anyway, so
Yep.
not really much. Can't read into that
It
too
was,
much.
one of those tough AFC battles, and
Yep. Let's move to another AFC battle. Kind of surprising, Titans Bengals. The Bengals come out, they get an 11-point win um, over the Titans.
I mean, this one's just chalked up to Joey Burrow. Dude
Joey,
is an absolute gamer.
he's an animal.
Absolute gamer.
No
He
pun intended,
it was
but he's an
it was
animal.
it was fun to watch. A lot was going on. He was getting out of the
I
pocket.
should probably are.
I have to learn how to mute my damn window.
We'll
He
learn.
was,
We're
he
getting
was
there.
he was getting out of the pocket, evading sacks and making some really impressive throws, and
Yeah, man.
keeping
And they,
keeping plays alive.
yeah, and he's been doing that since the beginning of the year too. But I mean, as the year goes on, he's obviously getting more comfortable. But yeah, there was one like he had like 5 guys just draped over him, and he somehow made it out and got a positive play out of it, and it was
Yeah.
just kind of crazy. I mean, if you watched him during his time at LSU, I mean, he was doing that pretty much nonstop. Like he just wants to make plays. I mean,
Yep.
and he's a gamer.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to for the moment when he finally gets like solid weapons around him and a good O line because I mean that team in the future could be really good. They have a lot of potential.
Yep. And he had his offense was there right with him. Bernard carried a lot of the load on the offensive production for the team over the weekend.
Hmm.
What do you have? 2 touchdowns, one on the
Yeah, he had
ground,
a
one in the air.
yep, yeah. So
So
productive day from the stash.
it's just another eye opener for fantasy owners. Do you need a running back, that RB2,
Hmm.
that that kind of guy that can just, if he's going to be able to consistently, he could fill a spot in your roster
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. I mean, especially for I'm not sure how long Mixon's out for, but for the foreseeable future, I mean, Bernard's kind of the guy there in Cincy.
Yep, absolutely.
And who knows? Maybe I mean these performances they end up splitting time, so you never know. It could turn into something. T. Higgins had a nice day. He caught 6 of 9 for 78 yards. He's a rook, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tyler Boyd, obviously, wide receiver 1. He caught 6 of 7 targets for 67 yards and a tutty. Good day for him.
Yep, capped it off with a tutty. Fantasy owners love to see that late touchdown catch and secure some points. So
those 6 points, they're huge. They could be huge.
Yep.
Especially in a year like this where, things are really up in the air. Every week it seems like.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are a lot of guys out there that are just fighting for those type of points. Those is my guy or my wide receiver 2 gonna get
right here?
Is he gonna get in the end zone? I need it.
It's crazy. Like my team puts up points. I mean, I had a lot of buys this week that kind of fucked me, but it is what it is. We'll fight another day. Auden Tate had a nice day. He caught all 7 of his targets for 65 yards. And then quiet day for AJ Green.
And that's the thing. You give credit to Burrow for a day, but his guys were catching the balls that he's throwing. I mean, he has to throw a good ball, obviously.
Yeah.
But when they caught a lot of the passes were caught that he was throwing out there. So
yep, for sure.
It was good. It was good to see.
And then on the Tennessee side of things, obviously Derrick Henry did his thing, 18 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Corey Davis had 128 yards receiving and a touchdown. He caught 8 of his 10 targets. But behind him, not really much doing. Like to see Jonnu Smith maybe get a little more involved. But
yeah, I mean, Ryan Tannehill still had a day. It's upsetting because Tennessee was one of the few undefeateds at 5-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then they lost. Yeah,
they were pretty much just running over everybody with Derrick Henry. The man, I mean, he still couldn't be stopped. He was a tank engine, even against Cincinnati. But when you rely on a guy so hard, things like this happen. And the Bengals came out and played really well. So
yeah, I mean,
the Titans played well, but it's one of those days where the other team just played better.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to the Bengals. They get a tough win, and I think you could probably kind of see where Tennessee lost the game. I mean, Davis has the 8 catches, but then behind that, I mean, Ferkser 2, Smith 2, Brown only 4, and Tennessee they rely on running with Henry and then getting their play action in there, and it just didn't work for them on Sunday. But I'm sure they'll bounce back. They're pretty much a lock to make the playoffs out of the AFC.
They showed that in the first 5 games and. They had a tough game in week 7, and this is just it's a wake up call. And they'll start figuring it out. So I'm not worried, but
no, they'll be all right.
There's no issue still playing Henry. If you need a quarterback, Tannehill has been super consistent. So that's my takeaway from their side of things.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think AJ Brown will have a bounce back game. I think he had coming back from his injury, he had 3 straight games of over 20 fantasy points. So I don't think there's really too much cause for alarm there. We'll move on to Raiders Browns. This was a low scoring game. I think the winds were gusting to 50, off the lake up there in Cleveland. So
the ball literally, I think it was the first or second field goal of the game. The ball went from the right field goal post to the left field goal post.
Just straight left. So obviously not much doing in the passing game for both Carr and Baker. Josh Jacobs carried the ball 31 times for 128 yards, 4 yards per carry, a decently efficient day. Nothing crazy. He didn't have a touchdown, but it was good to see him kind of get back in his workhorse role.
Yeah, I mean, Jacobs, you said it, 31 attempts. That's
crazy.
That's a lot.
I mean, when the wind's gusting to 50, you got it. Josh.
No, absolutely.
Keep taking it, buddy.
You kind of expected it. I think a lot of people had the Browns. I think the Raiders look really good. I think
they're sneaky, man.
Gruden has done a really good job. Carr has had a great year up until this game, but I mean, you put any quarterback out there, they're going to struggle in these conditions anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And, for the Browns, Hunt, I think, had a couple opportunities. He just couldn't really get that big burst.
Couldn't break that play. Couldn't break that, yeah.
I think he had one where it was wide open and he ends up getting clipped. He just couldn't pull out his right leg. Would have been a huge gain. But he doesn't have Odell, Landry, couple. I keep calling him Stonehands. He's a great receiver, but he does drop some
Yeah,
big.
I mean, he kind of got he should have had a touchdown, but he couldn't. The way
Yeah. I mean,
the
that
way he
was
caught
that
it,
was
I
a
mean,
missed ball, but yeah.
the ball didn't survive the ground. I mean, I would just chalk that up to being unlucky. But I mean, he had 11 targets, only caught 4. So I mean, it should have been a bigger day for him. But
Yeah.
I think he's still
It's- It was just one of those games where nothing really happened, and you'd
yeah.
expect more out of the running game. And you see it. The Raiders ran Josh Jacobs 31 times,
Mm-hmm.
and Hunt just couldn't really get anything going for him. So
Yeah.
that's why this game ended 16-6, and um, you know the weather really prevented a lot of stuff in this game.
You said it best. We'll move on. Colts Lions. Nothing really too surprising here. Colts come into Detroit. They blow them out 41-21.
Okay, Mr. Confidence.
What?
Nothing surprising here,
Dude,
Like
the
the,
line.
the
Come on,
Lions are
bro.
trash. They
They're
don't.
0-3. They're 0-3 at home.
That
They're
doesn't.
ass.
Stafford is a good quarterback.
Oh, it's because you have Stafford on your team. Come on, man. I mean, he had a nice day. He had over 300 yards,
That
3 touchdowns,
Listen,
1
we
pick.
talked about it this weekend. I don't know what the hell Matt Patricia is doing because they still got freaking. I love Adrian Peterson to death, but he should not be running the ball more or as much as DeAndre Swift. Okay, it's as
Yeah, I
simple
don't
as
know.
that. I don't know what's going on over there
I
in
mean,
that.
to be fair, the Colts. I think they have like a top 5 rush defense.
Well, they do, and I think they got Leonard back. I think he came back off injury this week,
Yeah.
so that was big. That was big.
So
But
I mean, that's why
to
Stafford threw the
blow them
ball.
out, I mean, they blew them out, and I wasn't expecting. I had the Lions, so I wasn't expecting a blowout.
I forget who I took in this game.
You took.
I think I took the Colts. Um, but yeah, I mean that's why Stafford threw the ball 42 times. Um, I mean it's such a weird situation. I don't know who Detroit has. I think they have. Let me see real quick. They have the Vikings coming up on Sunday, so we'll see what Patricia decides to do, how he's feeling when he wakes up that morning, who he's going to use. Hopefully it's um, I mean obviously Swift's fantasy managers, they've seen it. He had the breakout game, and then
Yeah,
nothing really doing since then.
I think that's a lot of we get that a lot for a lot of teams that run those split back fields. It's weird because the guy in the second role I always feel like should be carrying the ball more, and
Yeah,
I'm not. That's why I'm not offensive coordinator or a coach
should
because
be. No, I mean we should be.
um,
If we ran, I mean if we were coaches on the lines, we'd probably have that team at like
I don't know about all
at
that,
least
but I
500.
feel like I can
We'd have
make
them
some
at
better
we'd have
decisions
them at like four
than
and
what
three.
they when than what's been made
I
by
think we'd have them at 4-3, not 3-4. Because Swift would be the feature back. Um, Kenny Galladay wouldn't have got hurt. I mean, Matt Patricia just breeds bad luck. Well, I can't really say that, but
But the big surprise in this game was for me, Naheem Hines coming out of nowhere. Um, I think I dropped him because I thought
I think you
Taylor
did
was going to
too.
be the guy from this point forward, and Taylor just had a completely disappointing day.
Just dud. A dud.
Absolute dud. And I mean, what he got 11 attempts, but they really were favoring Wilkins on the run game.
Yeah, it was surprising. And I
Attempts.
mean,
So
Hines comes back from the dead, gets 2 receiving touchdowns. The one he had was sick. That one spin,
when he reached out, yeah,
dove.
was,
Yeah, he spun around, spun off the guy.
yeah.
Um, some crazy athleticism there. That's going to be an interesting situation moving forward too, because I mean, Taylor was looking like the guy throughout the first half of the season, and
Yeah.
now the
And
winds are kind of shifting. So
I think he was a big pick late in drafts for a lot of guys because they expected, he he has the potential, and especially with this offensive line. And now you're questioning yourself because you don't know what the coaching decision is, who's going to get the carries. Because Wilkins, who honestly I didn't even know he was going to even get close to 20 carries a game. is getting carries over Hines and now Taylor. So
yeah, I mean, this dude, I mean, came out of nowhere pretty much.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
whoa, chapped lips. um, you know, I mean, he started off the first 3 games of the year. He had 9 attempts in each one. Then he went 1 carry. At Detroit, 20 carries. So
Yeah,
I don't know what the
the
fuck's
only
going on
thing
there.
the only
There's a lot
thing
of
I get is if somebody's playing really well and they're running the ball hard, you keep giving it to them. I get that, but you know, you got a guy in Taylor. I don't know why you're not giving him more looks, but
there's a lot of fucked up backfield situations going on right now, and I don't like it, to be honest.
it's
Fucking
tough. It's
blows.
tough. It's just really hard to
It
gauge. You know?
sucks.
It's really hard to gauge as a fantasy.
Who knows? I mean, Chris Carson, he could be healthy, and fucking DJ Dallas gets the ball 20 times.
And we'll talk about
At,
that. No
at
need
this
to get.
point, you never know.
But you know, and then back on the other side of things, like I said, they're giving the ball. Well, I guess they didn't really. 5. Is this correct? Stats: 5 attempts for Peterson, 6 attempts
Yeah,
for Swift. That's
dude,
correct.
they didn't run the ball at all.
Wow. Wow.
They just completely abandoned the run.
I mean, you don't even have your guy in the lineup to throw the ball to, and you're just like F the run. We we got a guy in is it DeAndre Swift, right? And we're just like F it. No.
But we're trailing for like 95% of the game.
I
So
get that, but
it's game script, man.
did he catch did they throw to him?
It was Swift. Yeah, I think he had like 3 or 4 catches. So that's good. That's a plus.
But you still think early in the game you hand the ball off a little bit to the guy. But
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that in the preview. The week 9 preview. You guys will have to wait for that.
It's
But,
just I feel like there's a lot of disappointments in this game.
yeah.
And there's a lot of production that was left on the bench or on waivers somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, that's all you can really say.
Yeah.
Moving on. Vikings Packers. Vikings took this one. In Green Bay, 28-22.
Talk about the performance of the weekend.
Dalvin Cookies.
And you know, you say it's the performance of the weekend, but whenever this guy is on the damn field for the Vikings, can you just stop him?
Mm-mm.
He's their only offense. Okay? If they're in a single back formation, guess what? The ball's going to Dalvin Cook. They're in an I formation. Guess what? The ball is going to Dalvin Cook. If they're in a trips out right with Dalvin Cook out in the slot, guess where the ball is going? To Dalvin Cook. Okay. So can somebody just, you know, be in his pocket? Because you got to stop. I understand he's a great player. And the guy literally went off, and it was fun to watch. Honestly,
it sounds kind of personal.
It was fun to watch. No, I didn't even play against him. If I played against him,
oh no, yeah.
If I played against him, I would have been heated.
Oh, I would have been pissed.
But if you had him or you weren't playing against him, it was honestly fun to just watch this guy ball out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let's figure it out and let's get somebody to stop this man. Somebody man up and say, you know, I don't know wherever this guy is going on the field, he's not. If he touches the ball, he's going down, or he's not going to touch the ball. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, we probably should have expected it because when the Saints played the Packers, we saw Kamara go off. He had like 46 fantasy points in his game against the Packers. And he had that great, ridiculous, like 60-yard touchdown catch where like no one could tackle him. Yeah. So I think the Packers defense is just like that bad.
So,
and Cook, Cook benefited from it, obviously.
Whoever is playing the Packers, scoop their running back and play him.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they took the pressure off Cousins. He only had to throw the ball 14 times. He threw the touchdown to Dalvin Cook. And obviously, nothing doing really in Minnesota's receiving game for Thielen or Jefferson. Each had 3 catches, but
I mean,
nothing to write home about.
Even though the Dalvin Cook. It was the Dalvin Cook show. The Packers still made it a game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean my guy Devontae Adams, he had 3 touchdowns. Still carrying the load without Jones there. It's going to get a little more dicey for the Packers now with their whole fucking COVID thing. Maybe Lazard comes back. I don't really know his status, but I know he's like semi-close. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers are a good team, and it's just one of those games where, again, I think it's always going to be a tough game when it's Minnesota Green Bay. It's just always one of those games.
Yeah.
And Dalvin had a day and stuck it to him. So
that's it, man.
Yep.
That's all she wrote. Jets Chiefs. Again, not a surprise. Chiefs blow them out in Kansas City.
Yeah,
they let Mahomes do his thing.
They cover the 19.5. I mean,
I was feeling iffy about it, but I should have just hammered that 19.5. But yeah, Mahomes did his thing. 5 touchdowns. He had almost like 40 fantasy points. Probably won some people their weeks. Just on that alone.
Except for your dad. But yeah.
Rushing wise, Edwards-Helaire and Bell, nothing really doing because they let Mahomes just do whatever he wanted against the Jets defense.
I mean, yeah, that was the thing. He was spectacular through the air, and it was one of those games that if you're a Le'Veon Bell owner, you're like, oh yeah, Le'Veon's got a little revenge game. He's gonna ball out. I mean, He's gonna stick it to the Jets, and Andy Reid's like, no, this is a Pat Mahomes game. They took him out, I think, in the 4th, and they just said, you know what, Pat, just go out and do your thing.
Yeah. Kelsey benefited.
The secondary sucks, so just eat.
Kelsey benefited greatly from that. He had 8 for 109 and a touchdown on 12 targets. I know you were happy to see that.
Love to see it.
Helped you secure the high week.
Yes,
McCole
sir.
Hardman had 9 targets. Good for second on the team behind Kelsey. Caught 7 for 96 and a touchdown. I know he's on waivers in our league, so he could be worth a look. A little flyer.
So we were talking about this. Apparently, you saw something on Twitter. Somebody was tweeting at him, and he was like, F you.
Yeah, I guess
F
people
you.
were pissed at him. And
I don't care if I don't get points. Well, the thing about him is he is. I said it to you. He's a defensive special teams god.
He returns their kicks and shit, and he does all that.
When you have this high-powered of an offense, it's tough to get that many looks. But
yeah,
I think he was like, you know what? F whoever said that to me. I'm gonna go out and ball out. And
yeah, he must have been getting like added a bunch of times on Twitter because he tweeted he was like, I don't care.
He pleased the fantasy owners this weekend. So
very few of them, few McCole Hardman owners. But yeah, I mean, it's tough unless you have obviously like one of the cornerstones in Mahomes, Kelsey, or Hill. There's just so many weapons in this offense, and they really each one kind of gets their touches. They really spread it out. So
yeah, and it's just an easy secondary to pick apart. I mean, Tyreek had a day, Hardman had a day, and Kelsey had a day. So, it was kind of like, all right, who we get a double coverage this time? And Mahomes like, all right, this guy's open. Or Tyreek Hill's like, you can't keep up with me, so I'm just gonna sprint as fast as I can.
Even Demarcus Robinson got in on the action. He had 4 for 63. 4 for 63 and a touchdown. So just a great day for the Chiefs all around. And then this is for the Jets. This is another fucked up backfield. I mean, Frank Gore had 10 carries. Michael Perrine had 8. So that's a situation to monitor going forward as well. I don't know if Perrine's a rookie.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
4th round pick coming out of Florida this year.
He looks good when he runs. It's tough to run on the Jets on that team. It's tough to do anything, really.
Oh, against the Chiefs? Yeah. It's tough to gauge.
Against the Chiefs or just being in that offense in general. I mean, everybody hates on Sam Darnold, but give him somebody, a better coach and better surroundings. People are already like, we're going 0-16 and getting Trevor Lawrence. this dude Sam Darnold isn't that bad.
He's good. I mean, he's. I mean, I think he could be good if he's in the right situation. I really
Exactly.
think.
And that's a lot of that. I mean, you could say that about a lot of they're professionals. They should thrive
Yeah,
when they
that's
have.
true.
But the Jets literally don't have anybody. You know, it's just one of those
Yeah,
situations.
I mean, it's tough to see. I mean, I guess their one bright spot's Jamison Crowder. He's been hurt, but hopefully he comes back soon because he's quietly having a really good year.
Yep.
Um, like I said, he's one of the few bright spots on that team. So move on. Dolphins Rams to his first start.
The
Dolphins come out.
kid's first
They
start.
just they ate up Jared Goff and then just shit him right out. You know,
You
no
know,
mercy.
were you one of those guys that was like Dolphins defense, man, picking them up, scooping them up, and starting them? You were
If
living
you
life.
are, you're a fucking genius, and you have to coach my team because
Yeah, I need to get your number because I need to
how
have a
many?
conversation. Because they straight embarrassed Jared Goff.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean,
Four turnovers, right?
yeah, they ended up with 24 fantasy points, two interceptions, two fumbles, and then one interception went for a touchdown, one fumble went for a touchdown, and it was just, yeah, I mean, it was like, I was just in awe. I was like, holy shit, this
mean,
is crazy.
the Dolphins are actually looking like a team. I mean, it wasn't that great of a day for
To it under 100 yards. He had the touchdown though.
but he secured the tutty, and we should have ripped Devontae Parker because we knew who he was going to go to, and it was a ridiculous catch. But he secured the bag, and the boy got to take home his first tutty ball, and
Yeah,
and get the dub. So
and he got the dub in
you
his
love
first
to
career
see
start.
you love to see that,
Um,
and Dolphins fans are rejoicing after that performance from the
yeah,
defense.
I mean, good for them. They get to watch their guy, um, their future franchise quarterback go out there, get a win,
Yep.
against a tough opponent. A good opponent too. So they got Aaron Donald on the other side, so it was good to see him get the win there. And you got to think once he gets more accustomed and more comfortable, he can maybe be a viable fantasy option, maybe later in the year.
Yeah. And then, I mean, a lot of the points were scored by the Dolphins defense or put them in position to score. So
Yeah.
Gaskin, one tutty, 47 yards. He's going to do his thing.
Oh, that's another thing. Gaskin's out like 3 games. He has an
He got hurt.
MCL sprain or something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
So that sucks. So I guess Breida sees additional snaps.
Yeah. And you just got to hope that Tua starts playing a little better and they have the opportunity to throw the ball on I mean, hey, if the defense wants to do this every week, God bless them, but you want to see your rook get some reps in and go the ball around a little more.
Yeah, I think as they go on there, they'll open it up for him. Cooper Kupp enjoyed a nice day. He had 11 for 110. I was playing him, so I didn't really have a chance anyway, but good day for him. He had 21 targets. Is that real?
When you're getting roasted by the Dolphins D, you're just you're fighting, you're clawing back, you're gonna throw the ball to your guy, and Kupp tends to be his guy.
21 targets, bro. That's insane.
The guy.
That's ridiculous. You know why? Because he was playing
11.
me.
He only
Any
caught
receiver.
11. So I
Just
mean,
so you guys know, any
he got
receiver
targeted, but how many good throws did Goff make then? Because he only caught 11.
Yeah, that's true.
And the dude still had 110 yards.
Just throwing it like in his vicinity, hoping he gets it.
So about what could have been a boom game if Goff wasn't seeing ghosts out there.
Oh, seeing ghosts, maybe.
But
yeah, I mean,
lingering in the NFL, seeing ghosts.
Any receiver who plays against me tends to get like 15 to 20 targets. I don't know why, but I guess it is what it is. Woods 7 for 85. He got the tutty, and that's about it from the Rams receiving end.
Yeah, I mean, I still like their backs. I really like Henderson the way he runs. And,
he's a tough runner, yeah.
And Brown is kind of that dual threat guy. He could get some big gains, but he's there for a little dump offs and some catches if needed. But Goff just didn't look good this weekend, so it was a tough go. Except if you had Cup.
Yeah, true. Good to see Cam Akers get some work. 9 carries, 1 catch. So maybe he becomes. I know some people were high on him coming into this year, so maybe he gets some additional work.
I don't know. I think they really like Henderson, so we'll see. But they definitely have some weapons. So
yeah. Moving on, Steelers Ravens. Potentially, game. This was a great game. Back and
I'd have to
forth.
say this was the game to watch of the weekend.
Yeah. A lot of people thought coming in that the Ravens, this would be like kind of a bounce back game, but Lamar really struggled in this one again. They're passing.
Vegas even had the Ravens -4.
Yeah, I was surprised at that because, I mean, for me, the Steelers are the best team of football right now. I mean, obviously they're 7-0, but just from watching them and the way they operate. But I mean, the Ravens,
One venture card, you want unlimited double miles on every.
their passing game is kind of.
I literally
Their passing game's kind of just non-existent right now. One of the first plays of the game, Steelers ran back a pick 6 off Lamar. It may finally be J.K. Dobbins' season. I've been saying it for a little bit now. Ingram was out. They split the carries between Dobbins and Edwards. Dobbins looks like the better back to me, but Edwards snaked the touchdown. So
I think we say it. We say it every literally from week 1. We've said this, and Dobbins he took the opportunity. He saw that Mark Ingram was hurt, and he ran the ball well. But I agree. I think Dobbins is the better back, and I was saying it like, why aren't they giving it to Dobbins? But Edwards really held his own too. I was liking the way he runs the ball. So I still think they're a split backfield. I think Dobbins should get more of the workload, but both are really good backs. And obviously, since you have Dobbins, you're biased a little bit. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
I've been waiting. I've been
patiently
waiting for his opportunity. And this may be it. So, but no, I'm not taking anything away from Edwards. I mean, he's a good back too. He's a good runner. I would just like to see, I mean, yeah, I think I would agree. I think they split the work. Still going forward unless someone just comes and just grabs the opportunity.
Yeah. On the receiving end of things, Lamar tended to look for Snead. He had 5 catches, targeted 7 times, 106 yards. But the guy that got in the end zone for them was Hollywood Brown and Boykin. I guess Brown wasn't even he was only targeted twice.
Yeah, he had a surprisingly quiet day, which was weird. But I mean, their passing game's kind of all over the place right now. Lamar's not playing his best, so until they get things figured out, there's really no one you could trust from that receiving group.
I mean, it just goes back to that like Camish kind of thing. He's a force when he runs, but when you have so much tape on a guy, it's easier to figure him out. And he obviously can't. He's an elite quarterback, but he can't. He's not an elite throwing quarterback, so it's tough. But
yeah, I would say
it's disappointing. It's disappointing when you have a guy like Hollywood Brown out there and he's only getting targeted twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say Lamar's arm talent is like maybe probably average or like above average, but I think I've been saying it for a while now. I think defenses, they have enough tape on them where they've figured out how to defend Baltimore. Like if you take away their passing, if you make Lamar throw the ball, you're going to have success defending them. So I think teams have figured that out. Obviously, the Steelers have an elite defense. They performed well. Fantasy-wise, I think they had 18 points. So.
And then on the other side of the ball, Big Ben, he just gets it done. Didn't have, one of those big crazy days, but figured it out and I'm pretty sure there is a quote somewhere on Twitter where he was literally just making playground calls and calling out plays in the middle of the game.
Oh yeah, I saw that. He was calling plays in the huddle or like on the fly or something.
So that's just your savvy bet.
Yeah, he's a beast, man.
But from my takeaway from what we saw on Red Zone, when you need a guy to make a big damn play or you need big yards, you're going to Juju.
Yeah, man.
I don't think they go to him enough. It's like, plays happen. Oh, there's Juju. Where the hell has Juju been? That's what I felt like during that whole game. And
Mm-hmm.
when he did make plays, it was that big play. He made some big catches, but he didn't get in the end zone. He caught 7 of 8 for 67. Tight end play. This dude was great on the Colts. I loved him when I had him a couple years ago, when he was with the Colts, Eric Ebron. I think he can really do some damage in the tight end spot for a lot of rosters.
Mm-hmm.
He's just one of those guys where he could go out and get a touchdown every game if he wanted to. So,
Yeah. Eric
Chase,
Ebron.
yeah. Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool targeted the most, only caught 5 of them. Gets in the end zone now. The big thing about him is he just going to be that guy that gets the big game and then doesn't do anything really this year. But I think he's proven himself. He's a worthy target, and I think Big Ben likes him. So good for him.
I mean, he led the team with 9 targets. So I think he's definitely a state, and that was with Deontay Johnson in the lineup too. People thought Johnson's return was gonna like stifle Claypool a little bit, but I think Claypool is still he's gonna be a centerpiece of that offense moving forward. Yeah, just going back to Juju. I mean, I've liked Juju for a while now, and he kind of struggled to begin the year, but it's good to see him getting featured in the offense again, kind of coming back to life. So definitely some good things all around for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
James Conner had a tutty. Pretty not an efficient day. 3 yards per carry on 15 carries for 47 yards, but he did get in the end zone, which is really all that matters. Baltimore's got a good defense too, so
he's been looking good. He's been looking good on the ground, so
yeah,
it's a positive that he at least got in the end zone.
Yes, sir. Moving on, Chargers, Broncos. The Chargers pull Falcons.
It's not. They say that. I think the Chargers are right there.
They have like
they're
4
even.
blown leads, I think.
They're the same.
Yeah.
I think they're worse. So
the Chargers?
Yeah, I think they've blown more leads. Well, they haven't blown as big of leads, but they cannot finish a game, and that's all they have.
Close.
And
they can't close.
especially against a Drew Lock led Broncos. I despise. Probably a lot of people hate me for saying it, but I don't like Drew Lock. I really don't. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
He has a very punchable face too. I think that might be why.
I guess. But the Chargers just can't hold on. I'm pissed. I mean, I had Keenan Allen. He still did his thing. Herbert looks like a stud. That dude can straight throw a football. He's confident.
Oh, Herbert, yeah.
Herbert. The dude can throw a football. He's swaggy as hell. I'd take him over Drew Lock 9 times out of 10.
Justin Herbert greater than Drew Lock.
Facts.
Don't add him. Don't add Liam.
Oh, shit. Keenan Allen threw a ball.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. A little trickery. Mike Williams had 5 for 99 in the touchdown. He's like so hot and cold, man. It's like it's literally crazy. Like he's the kind of guy. He's the kind of fucker that you start him and he doesn't do shit, and then you bench him and he goes off.
That's very true, but this is my other thing. He's the type of guy that it's so mental. Like he could do this on a weekly basis if he wanted to, but he just doesn't.
Yeah,
he's an elite receiver, but he just doesn't go out and do it every week.
Herbert
made some great throws. Mike Williams made some stupid, dumb catches.
His touchdown catch, it was a one-hander. He kind of just like he could put it in the basket. He was like, "Give me that." Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean he's gone 3.4, 2.7, didn't play against Tampa, 29.9 against New Orleans, bye week, coming out of the bye 1.4 and then 21. It's crazy.
I think
he's a great receiver.
Herbert spreads the ball out a lot. I think you expect him. It's just inconsistent, so he could be a flex play at best for going on.
Yeah, I mean,
You just kind of hope he has one of those boom games.
yeah, I mean, he's boomer bust right now until he becomes more consistent. He's a shaky flex play.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
But here we go again with another. I don't know what the hell is going on in the backfield. I have no idea. I go out and I pick up Kelly because I thought he's been the guy.
yeah, this is another fucked up backfield.
And they're giving the ball 17 times to Jackson, and Pope is running out of his shoes on the field.
Troymaine Pope, who is this guy?
Never heard of the guy, but when he ran the ball, he looked like a freaking stud.
It's his third season. I've never heard of this guy. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's another very fucked up backfield.
I really had a lot of confidence of because I picked up Kelly in my league because everybody was on a freaking buy or hurt. And I was like, oh, easy pickup, Kelly. Nope.
I mean, if you're gonna play someone out of this backfield, I think it's Jackson.
No, I
yeah,
agree.
I mean,
After this, especially after watching the game.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be like a sneaky pickup, and it ended up.
Obviously, until Eckler. Once Eckler comes back,
Yeah.
He becomes the guy again. But until then, everything's fucked up.
And then on the other side of the ball, somehow, some way, Drew Lock leads the Denver Broncos to a 1-point victory.
The Drew Lock led Broncos.
Philip Lindsay looked really, really good.
I said on the preview show too, like this is gonna be interesting to monitor going forward. Yeah, he had 6 carries for 83. Most of those came on the one big 55-yarder, but he's looking explosive coming back from that turf toe injury. He snaked the touchdown from Gordon, so it's gonna be. I mean, Gordon's the receiving back. He had 6 catches for 21, so, but still interesting to monitor moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, just surprising. I guess Hamilton goes out has a pretty good day, 4 catches, 82 yards, gets in the end zone. Judy, I think there's a lot of potential surrounding him. I think he is really good. I don't think Drew Lock is good. I don't know how many times I'm gonna tell you, but I think Judy has a lot of potential, and it's just, I mean, they put up 31 points and he got targeted 10 times, so I guess it's he's got to get used to the league. He's still a rookie, so but I still think he could be a very good receiver.
And I mean, obviously, with the 10 targets, they're obviously trying to feature him in that offense.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's going to be really good. He just has to obviously get to that point.
Yeah, fantasy wise, I think he's been a bit of a disappointment though.
Yeah. He had some high expectations. KJ Hamler with a touchdown. My guy Okwu Boonham with a touchdown.
That's pretty good.
His one catch, his one target, made good on it with the touchdown. So good for that guy.
Good to see it.
Good for that guy. Broncos get the win. Fuck the Broncos. Fuck Drew Lock. They fucked me out of my parlay. The Chargers did. Should have won some money. But
yeah, classic.
Live to fight another day.
Classic.
Let's touch on. I guess we'll do Saints Bears. They went an overtime thriller, 26-23. There was a fight. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got decked in the face. Well, the helmet.
I just don't get it. The man is wearing a damn helmet. What are you doing? Trying to pull his chain and then I don't even think he connected on. He's lucky he didn't connect because he would have broke his damn hand.
Gardner-Johnson, his reaction when it happened was so funny. He just stood there. He was like, really?
The memes were.
And even like when it happened, we looked at each other. I was like, what the hell's going on?
So the play, I guess before or a couple plays before, Johnson got in somebody's face, and then the next play, the ball wasn't even in the vicinity, and the guy comes out of the blue and tries to knock him out with a helmet on. What do you do? What do you expect is going to happen here?
Yeah, dude, that was so funny, man.
Mind blowing, and
and then
Karma
hit him on the next play. Falls through the pick to Lattimore. So
Yeah,
fuck the Bears.
you get what you deserve.
They dropped to 5-3. But yeah, I mean the Bears, they force overtime. The Saints defense, some inconsistency, but they show up when it matters. And they're winning some tough games right now. Staying up there in the NFC South, up there with Tampa. No Thomas again, no Sanders again because of COVID. The rookie Marquez Callaway, who enjoyed a nice game against Carolina, didn't play. So obviously Alvin Kamara featured heavily in the passing game. 13 targets. He caught 9 for 96. He went 12 for 67 on the ground. Obviously, things run through Kamara right now.
This guy is the definition of a damn Swiss Army knife.
Who, Kamara?
He's a damn. He's not quite the Taysom Hill Swiss Army knife. He's just a whole different put together Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
he's got one. I think he has more gadgets. I think he's got a little more gadgets.
Mr. Gadget.
Yeah.
No, he's a beast. Man. He's such an elusive back. It's so hard to tackle him because of how good his balance is. And it's good to see him healthy again and just eating in that offense. And then even with the eventual return of Thomas and Sanders, I think they run the ball more with Kamara once Thomas and Sanders come back, but they'll still dial up those screen passes for him. So
I mean, you give this guy 5 yards of freedom, he's probably gonna get 30.
Yeah,
he's gonna figure out how to get those yards. It's fun to watch.
That's right. Taysom Hill catches a touchdown in this one. The very rare, the always enjoyable Taysom Hill tutty.
And then this is the other thing, let's throw Taysom Hill out there. Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Oh, dude,
a damn
so
quarterback
annoying.
draw. When are we gonna learn? I understand, there's always that chance he could throw the football. He was listed as a quarterback, but now he's just an athlete. The dude could throw the football still, but I get that you don't want it to be that one play where you're just not engage 8 full out blitzing the house, and he's just throwing a lob over to Kamara for a tutty.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure they're gonna be running a quarterback draw when Taysom Hill is lining up under gun or in shotgun.
And I mean, Hill's shown in the past that he could throw the ball. I mean, the playoffs.
No, absolutely, not taking anything away from him.
No, I know.
Just like 3 times. What do you think they're gonna do? And he picked up huge first downs because of it.
Yeah, just going off of that, I honestly think that knowing Peyton, he probably has a few trick plays drawn up where there's going to be one play where
that's
the defense, they see him come out on the field, they're like, all right, they're just going to run a quarterback draw, and then because that's pretty much all the tape is on him, and then he just drops back and just lets one fly. Well,
that's what you're scared of. That's why I get it, but at the same time, they did it 4 times, and he ran it up the gut every time.
I mean, yeah, sometimes their play calling can be a little too predictable for me, especially as a fan, but they're winning football games, so it's all that matters.
Yep.
Brees had he had I didn't think he had this good of a day. He went 31 for 41, and 2 touchdowns. Really took care of the football. 109.8 passer rating. So
he secures the record once again for touchdowns, I believe, too, now, all time.
Yeah, him and Brady will keep going back and forth.
But yeah, Cook looked good. Caught a touchdown, 5 receptions for 51 yards. Tre'Quan Smith, 5 receptions for 43 yards. And we said Taysom Hill gets in the end zone as well. And then other side of the ball, even though I don't think the Bears should have been in this game, David Montgomery, 21 attempts, 89 yards. Still, I just don't think looks good at all. I think it's just a struggling offensive line for the Bears, so it's just tough for him. He saw one gap that he hasn't seen all year or since week 2, and he took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, solid day, 6 catches for 87 and a tutty. Mooney, sneakily good day, 5 receptions, 69 yards for a tutty as well. And I think that was really it. But I think the big question here is a lot of people are talking about, do they go back with the biscuit, or do they keep running with Big Dick Nick?
Oh, Mitch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw they showed Trubisky. I think Nagy might have been talking to him at one point, so maybe they go back to him.
Well,
Um,
he ran a play, I guess.
oh, did he?
He had a
Oh, he
rush.
did. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rush for 3 yards. Yeah. So I mean, that's a situation obviously to monitor going forward. Um, I guess Foles can only play good in the playoffs.
Well, it's Foles' job to lose now. It was Trubisky's job to lose. Now it's Foles' job to give it back, I think.
He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, I mean, he's probably on the cusp of just giving it back to Trubisky. So
It's a tough decision. But this was a fun game to watch. Saints get it done in OT. What do you expect anything less? No, sir.
Will Lutz is clutch in overtime. They get the win there. They move to 5-2. And then moving on, we'll jump over to the Niners Seahawks game. I'm trying to remember how this game played out. The Niners scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, but I think those were like garbage points, weren't they?
I'm trying to remember how they even scored, to be honest. I don't remember the end of this game either. It had to be in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Uh,
Seattle, they were up 30-7, and then the Niners they got 2 touchdowns, and then DJ Dallas had his touchdown run that kind of put it out of reach. So
yeah,
the
so I
Seahawks,
think
they did their thing. They controlled the game.
I think the big thing here was you sending me DJ Dallas college mixtape, hoop mixtape, balling out.
I told
And
you,
you were
man.
like, you're high on him, and I was like, you know what? I believe you. I think he could get a tutty, and he did more than that. He came out and he proved that when their guys in Chris Carson, who's just absolute stud, and Carlos Hyde, who's just a monster, come back, that he should still be getting some carries in
Yeah,
this offense.
yeah, for sure.
So
Um, yeah, he's the feature back with Carson and Hyde both out. Carried it 18 times for 41 yards. Touchdown on the ground, touchdown through the air. Showed some versatility. Showed some promise. So maybe Pete Carroll, like you said, gives him some looks moving forward. Russ did his thing. 4 touchdowns, 128.3 passer rating.
yeah, I
DK
mean,
Metcalf, 50,000 targets, 12 catch.
it's who do I like more this week?
Metcalf or Lockett. Like
DK
I
or
said it on Sunday too. I was like, it switches every week. It's either Lockett or Metcalf.
yep.
Russ.
I love to see it
Maybe
because I got DK. So
Russ was like, shit. I'm kind of neglecting Metcalf. I'm just gonna throw to him the whole game.
I mean, Metcalf is a beast, so he should get 10 targets a game.
Yeah, he is a beast. He's a
I
freak
mean,
athlete. 12 for 161, 2 touchdowns. He balled out.
and also when you got your quarterback just throwing the ball on a string, it's pretty
Yeah,
fun to watch as well. So
for sure. We touched on Kittle went down in this one. Garoppolo went down in this one. Brandon Ayuk, he was a popular pickup last week. He continues his good form. He goes 8 for 91 and a touchdown on 11 targets. So good for him.
yeah,
He's shown.
I think you were mentioning him a lot in our preview.
Yeah.
So good call on
Um,
that. You should listen to my man. He's the reigning GM, self-proclaimed GM of the year. When he
no,
gives you tips,
I was
you
given that title.
take them.
I was given that
No,
title
he's self-proclaimed.
for a reason.
But no, he had a really good game, and it's just tough because now they're going back to Mullins with Garoppolo out. But it's a good thing because now he might get targeted even more.
Yeah.
Because Kittle's out, and
Debo's still out,
It's
I
just a
think.
struggling offense now for San Francisco.
Yeah, kind of tough to gauge moving forward with Mullins there. It remains to be seen. Yeah, Debo Samuel is already ruled out, so there's more opportunity there for Ayuk moving forward. There with Nick Mullins. And I touched on, I don't know if I mentioned him, Jordan Reed. I mentioned him in my waiver column today. Kyle Shanahan's optimistic that he's going to play Thursday against the Packers. So obviously, if he plays, he could be a good tight end play because they're an offense that likes to rely on their tight ends. So he should see a lot of volume.
Yeah, and then you got another confusing backfield because you don't know what Shanahan's thinking. But Hasty seems to be their guy. He gets 12 attempts on Sunday for 29 yards, but gets in the end zone. I was happy because I just rode out with McKinnon, and he was actually targeted a couple times towards the end during the garbage time, and gets in the end zone through the air. So it's tough. I think Hasty's a good back. So
yeah, I agree. I think Hasty is probably going to be their main guy, but McKinnon will be their the receiving.
This is just going to be a struggling offense from now because they don't have their franchise quarterback and tight end.
Yep, it's going to be rough sailing for the Niners moving forward. I'm sure there'll be some struggles along the way.
Yep.
Moving on, the Sunday night game, the nightcap, little NFC East, great division. No, I'm just kidding. This was just a brutal game to watch. The Eagles pull it out 23-9.
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch.
They take the stranglehold on the NFC East with a 3-4-1 record. Carson Wentz didn't look great. He was just playing the Cowboys. So
he's just a turnover god.
Yeah.
Turnover god.
I mean, you could say for him, too, he makes the plays when it matters. I thought Boston Scott looked really good. He's a good back with Miles Sanders out, so he's enjoying his workload.
Yep.
Ben DiNucci came in. He didn't play terrible. He had 180 yards, didn't throw a pick. So, I mean,
like I said, I didn't watch the game. I'd have more fun watching the Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. Yeah, I mean, the expectations weren't that high for him coming in.
If you have guys like Elliott, you have guys like CeeDee Lamb, you have guys like Amari Cooper, you're hurting right now.
I mean, especially they got some rough news today. Dalton tested positive for COVID. I think they're gonna have Cooper Rush, and then some other guy, I forget his name. They're gonna have him compete for the starting job. So obviously that hurts everyone on offensively on the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb, his stock comes crashing down. Amari Cooper's stock's crashing down.
They can't get close enough to the end zone for Zeke to get even a look at it. So
yeah, I feel bad for Zeke, man, because he's a great back, but he's in a shit situation right now.
You really do, because the Cowboys are actually. I thought they were. I mean, on paper, they're a pretty good team with Dak and the throwing the ball.
Yeah, now that Dak's. I mean, Dak was everything for them. He was their heart and soul. He was their leader. He goes down, and now they're in free fall right now.
Yeah. But it was the writing on the wall. Eagles take it 23-9 and surprisingly cover the 10-point spread.
That they do. Travis Fulgham continues his good run of form. 6 for 78 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Jalen Reagor in his return from injury, 3 for 16 with a touchdown on 6 targets. He'll probably have more efficient games going forward as he gets back into game shape.
Yep.
And then to end the week, a very interesting game, surprisingly, last night. Bucks and Giants. The Bucks take it by 2, 25-23.
I mean, I was saying it to you. It's his freaking kryptonite, the New York Giants and Brady. It's like something goes off in his brain. He's like, shit, I'm playing the Giants.
That PTSD, it's a scary thing.
The first half was pretty rough to watch if you're a Brady or Bucks fan.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants defense, I think they're underrated. I mean, their defense is actually pretty solid. Watching James Bradbury, I think he's one of the best corners in the league. And no one really talks about him. But he's really good. I mean, their defense is pretty solid. I mean, they contained the Bucks. I mean, the Giants, they had a chance to win this game, and I know you were adamant that Jones should have thrown that ball earlier to Deion Lewis.
I'm telling you, you go to their practice or you go to freaking sit down with Daniel Jones and the quarterback coach. This is your first option. What are you doing gathering yourself? You just throw the ball. The guy is taught that as soon as I get to the goal line, I'm turning my shoulder. The ball is going to be on my chest. It's basic professional football that if the ball is going to hit you in the chest, it doesn't matter if it hits you as soon as you turn. You got to catch that ball. And Daniel Jones, I don't know what the hell he's waiting for, but that 1.5, 2 second wait screwed him. And then people are obviously it after looking at it, it was definitely PI, but it doesn't even happen. There's not even a question in my mind that this game goes into OT if he throws the ball earlier. That's my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because even if Jones he takes the snap, maybe takes the drop back, and then even if he leads him toward the pylon, as soon as that ball just has to break the plane.
But I'm
Lewis has
watching
to catch it, and then that's it.
The dude got happy feet and then threw the ball 5 seconds late. So
yeah,
I don't think they deserved it, to be honest. I don't think they deserved the PI to be called, and I'm not that I'm happy, but I think it was the right decision because he should have been in for the 2-point conversion, and it's upsetting for Giants fans, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean the game should have at least been in overtime. No Chris Godwin in this one. He had finger surgery. He was out. Mike Evans went 5 for 55 on 7 targets and a touchdown. Gronk caught all 4 of his targets for a touchdown, and Gronk and Brady, they set the record for most touchdowns, between a duo or something. Yeah.
Shocker.
So, shout out to them, two future Hall of Famers there. Leonard Fournette outpaces Rojo in the backfield. Fournette went 15 carries, 52 yards, and then 3 receptions for 19 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they're just feeding him. I'm surprised because I still think Ronald Jones is a very good back, but when you're getting twice the amount of carries, I hope that you expect a little bit more than 52 yards, but gets the job done. So
yeah. Yeah, so it looks like it's Fournette's backfield for now. They have Antonio Brown coming into the fold. Arians said today it's not going to be 60 plays. It's probably going to be 15 to 30. I'm sure they have some packages drawn up for him. So it's going to be interesting to see when he gets there, see how he performs. On the Giants side of things, Sterling Shepard had a nice game, 8 catches, 74 yards on 10 targets. Evan Ingram, 5 for 61 on 10 targets. Darius Slayton, 5 for 56 on 9 targets. So, Jones spread the ball around. Another guy.
And there's a couple plays where he had guys for big plays, or he either overthrew him, or I think Slayton tripped up. So
yeah. But yeah, Giants should have had an overtime. They don't. The Bucks take it. They're 6-2 atop the NFC South still. Huge showdown with the Saints upcoming on Sunday night. We will talk about that in the Week 9 preview. So that's about it from us.
That wraps up the Week 8 recap.
A great Week 8. Hopefully you guys got some dubs. If not, there's always next week. There's always 5. There's 5.
Pretty if my guys come back healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a
That's what
strong team if you're
that's
healthy
what I
now.
hope for. That's my prayer this week for every fantasy owner. I don't even care if I lose, to be honest, at this point, this far into the season. I just want to see some high scoring fantasy healthy teams because we haven't really
Yeah.
seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see some good matchups. I feel like, especially in our league, there's been a lot of like blowouts because like teams are hurt and like they just
That,
underperform.
but I'm on the opposite side of things where I got to freaking grind to get pull up. My W's have been point 0.5. I barely beat your dad. Your dad's probably pissed because he matches up with anybody else this week and he blows them out pretty much.
Yeah,
And then my third win, I think I barely snuck out another win there. So it's either really tight games if you're like me, or there's just complete blowouts because of
yeah.
injuries
There's really
and
no
stuff.
in between. Yeah. So the week 9, my waiver column's live on the site now. Definitely go check that out. We're gonna do our week 9 preview. Probably that'll drop on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hit up our Twitters. I'm at Andrew_Graz. And what's yours again?
Mine's at Liam LiamByrne 3. But more importantly, toss us that follow at roll is what's the
The Twitter.
RTD fantasy?
Yeah, the Twitter's at capital RTD fantasy. Definitely check that out. Hit us with a follow. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.